Hey there, this is Harrison from Coffee House, coming again with some more tea here. Today I've got a sencha to try, and this is one that we've been serving at the cafe a little bit. We've gotten a little bit of feedback from the customers, and this is something that I've been very proud to carry. Little background here. So this is called Ren. It is your pretty standard sencha here as far as price point is concerned, but this one it packs a lot of flavor. It's actually considered to be a fukamushi cha. So if you're unfamiliar when I say that term, it is actually a deep steamed sencha. So what that does during the process is it just kind of brings out more of the flavors, rounds out that umami, especially for, a sencha. You're going to be dealing with very little to no shading with the tea development. So there tends to be a little bit more of that astringency that comes through, etc. But with the deep steaming, it kind of starts to erase a lot of that. So this is a really good sencha, for the masses. It provides, again, a lot of that sweetness, a lot of the aspects of sencha that you want, but it dials back a lot of those other ones that you might be searching for, and some nicer quality ones that may be I guess unique to a lot of new drinkers. So what I've got here, so this is 3 grams that I'm working with, and I'm going to be pushing this to 100 mils here. I found that this is a really nice recipe for just myself. A lot of times I'll drink a full 7-ounce, like 200 mil sencha, but for tasting purposes, I always like to kind of keep it down to this. I find that I can kind of bring out most of the flavors in, and just generally is a little bit quicker of an experience. So I'm going to be steeping this for 45 seconds. And I'm going to be doing this in my my kyusu here. This is a ceramic kyusu, specifically from Kinto. I really like the way that this one is shaped, specifically for sencha. It's very nice because the way that it's a little bit more cone-like rather than much more round and oval-esque. The reason that is because it can kind of contain the heat a little bit better, whereas in a lot more of the more rounded, shallow kyusus, I find it better for gyokuro because it'll help kind of cool down and even out that temperature. But this one, this one's perfect for sencha because it's going to keep it at that strict 165. So here we go. So here's our first steep. And before I take a sip of it, and as I'm kind of getting the last few drops in here, one thing that is super nice about this tea is while it is not organic, it is an eco-certified farm. So when I say eco-certified, or an eco-farm is what they call them, what that generally means is that their pesticide usage is incredibly restricted. So, whereas, a lot of teas on the market are not going to be organic, that pesticide, usage is still not necessarily, a bad thing for, people who are drinking tea a lot of the times. But for those of you who are concerned, this one is highly regulated by international law. So while it is not certified organic, it is very clean. The farm is also using a lot of other ways to reduce emissions, et cetera, as far as what they're producing is like. And it is it's produced in Kagoshima in a place called Shiran. And it is produced by a farmer, 3rd-generation farmer, like a lot of these teas out of Yame. But his name is Shimono-san. And there's a couple other teas that we carry that have the same producer. And it's really fun to be able to try them back to back and try them side by side because they all vary so much, but they're all just so delicious. And this one specifically, I'll hold this up to the camera so that you can see. This is actually going to be on the lower end of the spectrum as far as price is concerned from this producer, but again, especially for a fukamushi cha, this is this one packs a lot of flavor. Okay, yeah. So like I mentioned earlier, you get those deep, buttery, steamed vegetables, floral kind of marigold kind of notes in this. but nothing is too intense or off-putting for somebody who is just walking into, trying senchas out for the first time. That's something that I find is a really amazing selling point for this tea, and something that, makes it nice for me to drink every day. Especially like, when it comes to gyokuros or some of the nicer senchas, one of the things that you generally find is sometimes there can be a lot of nuances that, I don't want to be like, eating food or, have like eaten a meal beforehand because I want to like experience this tea in the fullest. What makes this tea different is that everything that you want to experience is right up front. There are nuances. There are really special, really nice aspects of this tea that are hidden in the background, but it's just so pleasant, and that'll come even more apparent with second steep. But even our first steep, which generally is going to be where you're going to get most of that umami when it comes to sencha or gyokuro, this one, it's just so sweet. There's not anything, it's not too broth-like. It's not too, it's not too, sea-like. It's not, it doesn't have that salty effect that you can get a lot of times. It's just very fresh. And that's something that I find is incredibly valuable, especially, on an education standpoint too, because, just because it is processed similarly to other teas, doesn't mean that it's going to taste even remotely the same at all. And this is made with, 4 to 5 cultivars, and this blend is just so masterfully done. I find that because you got the sweetness of some of the Midoris in there, there's a little bit of Yabukita in there as well. It rounds everything out just so nicely, and doesn't provide too much of the sweetness from the the Saya Midori, but not too much of the umami and kind of astringency that you'd find in Yabukita, which is going to be the more popular cultivar, if you say. But again, let me dive into the second steep here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to dump this now because I will thank myself later, because this second steep, with most senchas, you'll see me do this, and you'll see a lot of people do this. You're just going to immediately dump as soon as you get up to the point that you want to be at. So I just reached 100 mils, and then no steep time. I'm just going right in. The reason that this is you can even see in the cup here, especially if I hold this up, you're getting a lot of fines. That is a very normal process, especially, with sencha. It is a lot of times very broken and very small, and that's why we steep it so quickly, because not on top of it being a very fresh tea, in flavor and in the way the leaves appear, because of the steaming, that is, we just want to kind of get it in and get it out. That's kind of the rules for sencha, if you are one to follow the rules. But again, with any tea, do what you like. Try out what feels best to you. But especially, like I said earlier, I did a lighter ratio. That doesn't look like too light of a ratio to me. In fact, the second steep is very almost jade gyokuro-like, which is common when you find deep steeped, fukumushi cha. But yeah, let's just dive in. It's very good. Oh yeah. Okay. So this is when I was sold on this tea. The first steep is so nice. It's so mellowed. It's so delicious and fresh. But this second steep brings out more of that floral element, which is something that I really love when I find it in senchas. It's something that, is comforting. It's something that, especially here in the middle of gross winter in Michigan, it reminds me that spring is still going to come, when we're lost in the deep of the January, February, winter that feels like the longest part of it. Even though it has been a more mild winter, it's just very gray. So when I hit the second steep here, I'm always like, the hope is brought to me. So, but that being said, the marigold end, the chamomile too. That's one that I've been bringing up a lot lately. It's very warm yet floral. Still, that steamed greens like steamed broccoli, steamed spinach, it still exists, but it's much more on the back end. That is kind of replacing what the normal kind of umami flavors that you'd get in there. Again, they've fully came back, regardless of how green that is. And yeah, it's just an absolutely incredible, super enjoyable experience. So again, if you are looking to get into the realm of senchas, this is the first one I would pick up. You know, it may be a fukamushi cha and not like your traditional standard sencha, but I feel like this is the best way to be able to understand what it is that you're looking for in a sencha. You know, what it is that, you know, you like, what it is that you don't like, and that can help inform your buying later, which is something that, you know, I find to be very useful and something that was very refreshing when I received this tea. Because again, I saw the price tag and I was like, yeah, I don't know about this one. But then, sure enough, you know, after trying it, I was completely blown away. And this is, again, one of the reasons why, you know, I just want to reiterate why buying direct and importing direct is so much bigger of a deal, because, you know, some of the other senchas that I see, you know, being sold, you know, in kind of this area, a lot of times they, you know, won't have, you know, harvest dates on it, or, you know, and then when I brew it, it'll be like a pale yellow. But this was cheaper than a sencha I had just bought recently that had that problem. And I mean, again, it's the color alone speaks on the freshness. Let alone, I wish I could just give you the taste that I've got. But hopefully you get the chance to try it. And if you do, please let me know what you think. You know, either leave a comment. You can also send me an email or inquire through the website. But again, any questions, comments, concerns, I'm here. I'm here to answer anything. And if you want to see any more information on the farm, you know, and how the production side of things work, but yeah, again, please visit the website. And again, my name's Harrison from Coffee House, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Have a good night.